So, in the last two segments of this presentation, we were talking about the different steps, what you need to know when you buy an application, such as operating system compatibility and system compatibility, and why you should not download, and all the security concept that you have to implement when you download or installing application on your computer. So today, now in this segment, I'm going to talk about how to uninstall application, and sometime you may have a program installed in your computer. There are components that you don't need. You want to remove those components. How to do that? And we're going to explain you about the issue you can meet when you remove application or remove program from your computer. Especially if you remove a live program that can leave unused space in your hard drive, that can be solved easy by running defrag after you remove application or program from your computer. The other thing that you have to be mindful is a few files, they call them shared files. Those are files that the operating system shared with application software. So most of the time, when a programmer is designing a program, they use what they call a get statement. So that means they tell the application, when you need that DLL file, this is where you go to get it. Because the operating system comes with a folder called registry. And there is another folder named cab. It's like a cabinet where you put everything that you might need to use for a task in that computer. So the cab folder have a lot of tools that developers use to when they develop software. And also the registry have a lot of things when you install a software that go to the registry. So when a developer is developing an application, they want the application to share the same DLL and INI file. When I say DLL is an extension, like a document extension will have doc, a PowerPoint will have an extension. So the extension is the letter they put after the dot. This is what identify what type of software of file is that file, whether it is a system file or not a system file. All the DLL file is a system file that is part of Windows. All the INI file, all files that come with the INI extension. If you look at in the file, you see an INI extension. So that means it's a system file. If you see an executable file, so if an application share a DLL file, an INI file, or an exe file with the operating system, when you want to remove that application or uninstall that application, Windows asks you, do you want to remove that DLL file? You have to say no. I want to remove the application since the DLL file is related to that application by association. I don't want to remove it because Windows will still need that DLL file. So if Windows tell you, you're going to remove an INI file, do you want to remove it? You said, no, I don't want to remove that INI file because it is associated with my application because of Windows. So if it is the same thing for an executable file, you don't want to remove any system file because they are related to the application you want to remove, just only because of association. They are not belong to your application. They belong to your Windows operating system. So you have to be careful when you remove them. Now, but I want you to understand, when you remove a file, if you remove one of those DLL or INI or executable file, when you reboot your computer, there is a chance you have a blue screen of death, because Windows operating system will not be able to work without those executable, those INI or those DLL file that you remove. This is very important to understand, that you can remove an application. If you don't do it right after that, you cannot reboot your system. Now, if you go to, I'm going to try to do it. I don't know if you will be able to see it, but if you have your computer, you can do that. If you go here to Windows, you start the start button, all right, and you go to control panel, you click on control panel. This is something we will do it after, when we have a chance for our practice, because this class is a hybrid class. We do all the theory online, but the practice you will have to go to Mattapan Tech to do the practice. Now, but if you have a computer that have Windows at home, you can practice that together with me, because if you go to control panel, and right here you're going to look for program and feature. Let me look with you. Program and feature, and you click on programs and feature. And this is the same for all Windows operating system. Now you see that? This is all the program installed in your computer. A lot of them. So they even tell you which manufacturer make this program. If you look at here, you will see all the programs installed in my computer are made by legitimate company. Adobe, ATI Technology, Cisco System, Microsoft Corporation, Dell, Google. That's a clean computer. You will not see the name of any company that are not legitimate, because I make sure if you are not legitimate, I'm not going to download anything from you. So now if I want to remove any of them, just click on it and I can uninstall it. So on remove a software, it's very easy. So sometimes when you try to remove the software, it will give you a repair option. So if you want to repair, to troubleshoot, to repair a software that's giving you trouble, you can try the repair, because what the repair will do is to repair any file that is corrupted or any problem that you have. So if you go to remove program feature, and you can uninstall a program, you can make change, that means remove component that you don't need, or you can repair. So this is a good tools. Again, I said, if you want to reach this, you just go, the path is, you go to Windows, control panel, program and feature, you look, because depending of how much you have in your control panel, you have to look for it. When you see program and feature, you click on it. This is where you can remove, you can make change in the program, remove component that you don't need, add component that you need, or make repair to that software. So as I said, this is something that if you are Windows, I don't ask you to do a lot with your computer, with your personal computer, but I'm going to say that again. If you are a student from Mattapan Tech, you can have a computer, a refurbished computer, for $150. If you are a Comcast customer, you can call Comcast, you can have the same deal with Comcast. This is very important. because as a future technician, that will be a very important tool to have one of those computers to do your practice. So make sure you know this is one of the options that we offer at Mattapan Tech. Now, Windows come in 64 and 32-bit. The good thing about Microsoft, most of the time, when Microsoft have a newer version of Windows, they design the new version to work with the older version. But you need to know, when you are running an application, you have that choice available to run the application as the older version. So this is a very important option, because a lot of people, they have those older software operating system. They don't know they can run those old software in any operating system on this special mode created by Microsoft. And in all operating system, as a technician, you should know that they have two folders. They have one folder to store file from 32-bit Windows, they call them x86, and they have folder for file created by 64-bit. All the 64-bit system are in the file name, are in a separate file. They both next to each other. So if you go to right here in the presentation, you can see, if you go to drive C, where the operating system is stored, you click on drive C, right on the root directory, you will see program file x86. This is where all the Win32 file are stored, and on top of it you see program file. This is where everything that have to do with 64-bit Windows are stored. Let me do this again. You can see that if you go to start, you go to computer. If you have Windows 10 in your computer, remember, you can go to this PC. This is in older version of Windows. They used to call this folder My Computer. And in the newest, up to Windows 7, they call it computer, and Windows 10 they call it this PC. Windows 10 and Windows 8 call it this PC. So if you click on computer, you can look at, and this is drive C. You go to drive C, you click on drive C, you see what I was talking about. You will see the program file, and this is for all the 64 system file, and program file x86. This is where they put all the editors. So both 64-bit and 32-bit application can work on it. So in the next segment, I'm going to show you what is the process to use the older application on a 64-bit version.